what I've been seeing lately too there. Still, she says, I maintained my account to keep in touch with friends and to make sure my little sister didn't post any photos she would live to regret later in life, and to participate in the endearing who looked hot or not dialogue with my peers. Initially, I was even excited by sharp shots targeted ads. I do want to check out that conflict-free diamond tennis bracelet, she says. I do want to support Proposition 19, and I do want to invest in blue light acne treatment. She says she found herself cooing over and over again, but after a while, Facebook's apparent telepathy had her jittery. She says, I was 20-something, prep school educated Californian with a hazy expressed penchant for all things acceptably unorthodox. And Mark Zuckerberg, and his army of wonderful, useful, genius programmers had successfully pigeonholed me. I found myself fitting perfectly into the Facebook algorithm, or rather, she says, it fitting perfectly into me. And no number of Grateful Dead dancing bear t-shirts could counterbalance that. Says my attitude towards the site had already generally soured when I heard last February that Facebook was going to go public. But within a week of the news, I deactivated permanently, and I'll tell you why. That's where it gets good. Now, aside from Facebook's use of my clicking habits and social network connections to tailor its ads, I had another unsettling realization. She says Facebook is a service and a product to its users, but they pay nothing to use it, and there is no native revenue system whatsoever built into it. The value of the company is its main asset to itself and any potential business partners is, of course, the users themselves and access to them and their information. What they were planning to sell shares of ultimately was me and you. Wow. Let's reflect on that one for a minute. With 900 million users and an initial $104 billion valuation, let's say each Facebook profile is worth about $100. Now, the relative worth of a profile, of course, varies based on the level of engagement and other factors, but for argument's sake to Facebook, and now to its shareholding public, you are worth about as much as a matinee ticket to Rock of Ages. But that's just one you. It's the collective you that really matters. She says, of course, online data gathering as for-profit enterprise is not unique to Facebook. For instance, the other company of comparable size whose main product and asset is its users is Google. However, there is a key difference. Google is transitive, whereas Facebook is reflexive. In other words, Google and its data collection are outward moving, leading to other destinations on the web, other resources. Facebook's project builds entirely on the sum of its users' interactions with one another. She says, in this sense, Google could be likened to a librarian whose services we enlist in exchange for the concession that what books we ask for will be tracked. Facebook, on the other hand, is like your party that all your friends attend, but in order to yourself, you must agree to have all of your interactions recorded. In this way, the data and the information can, ergo the value of Facebook is internally generative. The more interactions and information, the more collective you is worth. And the rate of addition to the data value is astonishing. According to Facebook's own numbers, more than 3 billion likes and comments are posted per day, along with the uploading of more than 300 million photos per day. It's then either a postmodern joke or a Marxist irony, or both at once, that we are able to buy shares of us. But either way, she says, I don't want you buying shares of me. Add this to the further irony that before the public offering of Facebook's stock, the vast majority was spoken for by big-ticket clients of the banks that underwrote the IPO. And of the shares that were available to retail outlets, those were distributed preferentially to clients with the biggest accounts. Poor? Join Facebook. Rich? Buy Facebook. In the days since the IPO, Facebook's stock has slid below its offering price, and as of this writing, it's at $31 a share. But the daily stock prices are not the point at the moment. Even as Mr. Zuckerberg's personal fortune fluctuates in multi-billion-dollar swings, his project is bigger. Projected to have 1 billion users by year's end, the sheer size of Facebook's community makes it hard to grapple with. There are few commodities aside from air and water used by as many people. Only Coca-Cola and Microsoft and maybe McDonald's can claim comparable numbers. Fully half of all internet users are on Facebook, and that's a lot of eyes on ads. Are you starting to feel the scope with me, folks? Are you getting the big picture yet? Now, she goes on to say that displaying advertising has proven to be a limited source of cash, and Facebook is focusing revenue streams from other sources. As the company itself noted in its SEC filing in 2009, 2010, and 11, the first quarter of 2010 and 2012 advertising accounted for 98 and 95%, respectively, of their revenue. The solution to the diminishing ad business, it seems, is tried to making Facebook into what Mr. Zuckerberg has called an identity layer for the entire web. That is to say that his ideal version of the site and world, everything you do on the internet will be through Facebook, including online transactions. Oh, we're getting there. Facebook shopping. This is ambitious, but given the size of its user base and how thoroughly it is already ingrained in people's internet habits, imminently achievable. Even a modest version of this would be a revenue juggernaut. If the company were to, say, realize a revenue state of 1 cent per day per user by taking a percentage of transactions from vendors, that would be roughly $10 million a day, or $3.5 billion additional dollars a year. And that seems to be on the very conservative end of the hop. Now, this is troublesome when the head of the company has, let's say, innovative ideas about privacy. Non-existent, thank you. In 2010, Silicon Valley Insider obtained an instant message conversation from when Mr. Zuckerberg was still christening Facebook at Harvard, in which he refers to users who have voluntarily given their personal information as, quote, and I know I'm going to get hell from this from the booth, but I got to say it because it's a quote, dumb fucks. The bluster of a power-drunk 19-year-old maybe, but in 2010 tech blogger Nick Bilton tweeted the exchange he had with the Facebook staffer, off-record chat with Facebook employee. How does Zuck feel about privacy? Response, laughter. He doesn't believe in it, the tweet said. And indeed, the last week, the company was hit with $15 billion in a class action suit from a group of users claiming the company had voted the U.S. Wiretap Act by tracking their internet use after they had logged out of Facebook. The fact is that more information Facebook gathers about you, and the more ways it has to monetize that information, the more the company is worth. Yeah. Did you know that? Mr. Zuckerberg wrote in his letter to the investors, Facebook was not originally created to be a company. It was built to accomplish a social mission, to make the world more open and connected. Even taking this at face value, it still doesn't really matter anymore. It is a company now. It is a publicly held one at that. And even though Mr. Zuckerberg has controlling interest in Facebook, it now has to be accountable to stockholders. The tension between user privacy and monetizing data in service of stock price is a real one, and it seems unlikely to fall on the side of users. She says, I see congressional hearings in our future. Now are we seeing how big this is? You got that scope yet? Hang on. She goes on further to say that what did Mark Zuckerberg, whose proposal fortune is now bigger than the GDP of Jamaica, offer to the legions of users whose time and information have imbued Facebook with its vast value? In the past 8 years, he said monogamously, All of you out there have built the largest community in the history of the world. You've done amazing things that we never would have dreamed of, and I can't wait to see what you'll all be doing when we go forward. So on this special day, on behalf of everyone at Facebook, I just want to say to all the people out there who use Facebook and our products, thank you. She says, he's right, it's all us, which is a sweet sentiment, though not as sweet as the billions we earned him. Despite all this, I don't expect an exodus. A critical mass has been reached, and projections suggest that the site will continue to grow in the foreseeable future. I am not fighting against Facebook, she says. Facebook has already won. By next year, 1/7 of the world's entire population will have an account on the site. Facebook is not the bubble that can burst. It has become a reality unto itself. Still, she says, I'm enjoying life as a conscientious objector. I don't need or want a third party to manage my personal relationships for profit. So if you want to catch up, just email me. But in the meantime, you can like this article, the button at the top of the page, editorial@theobserver.com. That's for Elise Knutson. Brilliant woman, and really poignant article. And, wow, so many things that's got to speak to you. I hope. I sincerely hope. And what are some of those things, with all that power and responsibility, does that not come control next? Don't we have that control thing? Facebook's power includes control, people. It does. Well, let's back it up a little bit. Let's give you some of my experience with Facebook. Let's talk about the day I came up with the realization that, my profile isn't my profile. That's always my favorite one. I was on Facebook at the behest of my lovely wife Kate, and I was doing quite well at it. I had all my movie meeps from Vancouver and surrounding areas. I had all my movie dudes from Up Island and the Mill Bay Film Studio, etc. I had all my pals down in LA there, including a shout out to PM Entertainment. I love you guys. And it was good. And so I started building on that. I got myself 1,200 friends in a really short period of time. Well, as time went on, and building up HTLA and all the other things we're doing out on the West Coast here with TMFI and TMFG and, working with Michael Mailer Films and Border Crosses and all that cool stuff and making all kinds of networking possibilities out here happen, adding them all to my Facebook account. And I did all that, and you know what? At the end of the day, I looked at that and I was like, wow, 4,400 friends. And I was sitting here thinking to myself at the time, I remember thinking, 4,400 friends, who the hell has 4,400 friends? But then I stopped and actually broke it down, and I realized, wow, I do. I've got film and television distribution agents that I deal with. I've got film and television support companies, caterers, casting agents. I've got location scouts. I have animal trainers. I have, the list of these people that not only have I worked with before, but I've talked to face. We've made things together. Wow, this is really cool. I love Facebook. And then one day I go to my Facebook account and it's not there. And I'm like, where's my account? It's telling me it's been deleted. Why has my account been deleted? So I went through the 50 billion step process to contact my Facebook customer support and find out why I had been deleted. I and my 4,400 legions of friends and coworkers and colleagues. They came back and told me ultimately, after several weeks of fighting with them to get any information at all out of them, I was told finally that, of course, your account was reported as being fake. You're not you. I'm not me, I said. How can I not be me? Last 44 years I've woken up and I am me. So what do you mean I'm not me? Well, they've got these little reporting features now on everything that they instituted, about a year ago. And the reporting features is you can report it for obscenity or profanity or this or the that or the next thing. And you can also report fake accounts because, of course, as we all know, and again by Facebook's own numbers, 30 to 40% of their total online profiles. 30 to 40% are either fake people, people impersonating celebrities, or people that just don't exist. They're just names and profiles generated purely, completely out of the ether. And those particular profiles make up for almost 1/3 of their entire